Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is clown in a mech suit, Dan Ryan.
It's my favorite kind of clown.
The Stone Age Super Series is back, and it was Dan's pick for the letter B, and he went with Batman Return of the Joker for NES. How was it? Stock up on your bat ammo because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
So much bat ammo. Batamo?
If there's one thing Batman's known for, it's shooting stuff.
Hi,
everyone.
Constantly.
Everything. This is episode 458. It is the week of April 14th, 2023, and I have a conundrum. I'm looking at some website called Real Gone Music. I'm very confused. They have Fountains of Wayne, Out-of-State Plates, 2 LP. It's their B-Sides album. Like, is it used? What is it says it's $29.99. Whereas, like, I could get it at Target for $43.99. That's a lot more than $29.99.
Is it REAL or REEL?
REAL.
Okay.
RealGoneMusic.com. Like, what's going on here? Let me see what the shipping is. I'm going to go to checkout here. $7 shipping, so it comes to $36.98. That's a decent chunk of change less than buying it from Target.
It is.
Why is it this cheap? I feel like I'm going to throw money at this, and then that money's going to be gone forever.
I don't know. I'm looking at somebody posted a thing here on the vinyl subreddit they got from Real Gone Music. Said just fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
I'm going to give it the old college try. I'm going to pay now. I'm going to do it.
Do it.
My order's being processed.
Son of a bitch.
And now my bank account's empty. Damn, they own my house. Son of a bitch.
What happened?
That was fast.
Oh, man. So I had a super interesting experience today.
Yeah?
I went to a record shop around here, and it's fucking wild, man. So I walk in, and this is a place, I don't know, like, should I give the name of the store? I don't know if I should.
Are you saying something good or are you saying something bad?
I'm just saying something. I don't know. All right, you tell me when I'm done, and then I'll let you know.
Having to bleep it out.
It's fucking weird, man. It was super weird. So I walk into the store. Now, the last time I had been in this particular store, I was probably 14 or 15 years old. Okay, so it's been a very long time. And I was like back there buying like Soundgarden CDs or something like that the last time I was in there. And still the same dude, still working there. He's obviously quite a bit older now. He's a Vietnam vet. And he is a dude who, man, he is just out front with his opinions and wants to talk about them just at all times. And it's interesting, the way people talk to me. One of my favorite movies of all time is Easy Rider. Okay? Have you ever seen Easy Rider?
I can't say that I have.
It's a ridiculous movie. You should watch it at some point. It's great. It's fucking weird that, like, it's in the context of when it came out, it, I suppose, made sense, but, like, you watch it now for the first time, and I imagine you'd be like, well, this is fucking weird. But anyway, it's a great fucking movie, great soundtrack, whatever. I have an Easy Rider shirt that I just put a shirt on this morning, not even thinking what it was. And I get certain comments from certain people because apparently to an older sect of the population, a younger person wearing an Easy Rider shirt means I'm a bigot like they are. And I'm not even a little bit. So like I'm fucking talking to this guy, right? And so he just walks up to me and he's like, what type of shoes are you wearing? And I was like, fucking New Balances? Like, why? What's up? Like, we were chatting about music. You know, like, hey, how you doing? What are you looking for? Whatever. And he's like, what kind of shoes are you wearing? New Balance? Sneakers? Like, all right, as long as you're not wearing Nikes. I was like, why? Which I shouldn't have asked why. I should have been like, no, I just don't. But he started going off about how they have a transgender athlete advertising Nikes now.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, that's just fucked up. And I was like, I mean, is it though? And he was like, it's against nature. And I was like, I mean, sure, but like, they're not fucking bothering you. Like, I don't think
toilet
they're coming
paper's against nature.
You know, it's whatever, man. And he was like, I don't know, do you drink Bud Light? I was like, no, God, that's fucking terrible. Why would I drink Bud Light? He was like, well, because they got the fucking trans flag on there, so I'm not supporting that shit anymore either. And I was like, I mean, I don't think you not supporting them is going to hurt their bottom line, sir, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I was like, that's just, I mean, go on with your bad self. You know, like, it's cool that we're having this conversation, I guess, that you just feel comfortable just putting your opinions out there. And he was like, yeah, if you want to get a blowjob, go to one end of the rainbow. And if you want to do some ass fucking of a man, go to the other end of the rainbow. And I was like, whoa.
What is happening right now?
I'm just trying to buy this fucking Rancid record and get out of the store, dude. And like, there's this other fucking older guy who's just there and he's like walking around singing fucking Pat Boone songs. What is happening? This is the strangest fuck. And I was like, dude, man, they're not bothering you. Let people be. He was like, yeah, I know, I should. I'm just old. I'm set in my ways. He was like, I'm a phobe. I'm a racist. I'm a bigot. And I was like, I mean, you could change those things.
You don't have to be.
If you're admitting them
pretty
out,
chill about it, really.
He really did. Like, that was the weirdest part about it, is that underneath of it all, I think he's kind of an okay dude. I didn't know what to do. I was so... it was such a strange interaction at this record store today. Want a blowjob? Go to one end of the rainbow. You want to ass fuck a man? Go to the other end. Sir, we don't know each other to be speaking this way in public.
Sir, this is an Arby's.
What is going on? You got your buddy over here with the bowl cut he did himself singing Pat Boone at me. So he offered me a coffee when I walked in. I don't understand the vibe of this store any longer. It was a very different conversation than I had when I was 14 in this place. Like, man, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't... Why does it bother people so much?
That's the thing I don't get. That's, like, you run a record shop in the... fuck it. You run a record shop in the Berlin Farmers Mart. Like, it's a fucking booth. It's called... It's Howard and Nan's. That's, if anybody lives in New Jersey and you want to go have a weird conversation with a dude named Giuseppe, this is a fucking place to go. Because, like, other than that, he's super nice and, like, really knowledgeable about music and helpful. And if you want us to order something, we'll order something for you. He's, like I said, this guy's had a shop forever. But he just came out, like, guns blazing. Dude, it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Fucking trans people, man. What are they hurting? What are they hurting?
Yeah.
What does it matter?
It's that. And I told him, I was like, dude, I have a very simple life philosophy, man. I don't want to be the asshole in somebody's dinner time story. I think I've said that before on the podcast, but like, that's my goal every day. I don't want to be the dickhead where when you go home, you're like, oh, this fucking guy today. I don't ever want to be that guy in your story. So just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Literally none of this affects your life on a daily basis. You are running a record shop with a really good selection of music, and this fucking dude offering me coffee singing Pat Boone at. Like, other than that, this is a pleasant experience that I'm having here. You have a bunch of records that are relatively fairly priced. And I'm happy to, like, buy this Rancid record because I fucking love Rancid. But maybe don't just come out with the homophobic, fucking transphobic shit at 11 o'clock in the morning. Maybe the second or third time I'm in the store and, like, we start to strike up, a friendly rapport.
Wait until noon at least.
Fucking weird, man. But, support, like, small businesses and all.
Yeah. I had a great small business story this week. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah?
All right, so remember I mentioned a while back that I got this playground for free?
Yeah.
So we finally started building the thing, which has been a debacle.
It's an arduous process at best.
Yeah, like we knew going in that this was going to be a project. There was going to be things to replace, but
sure,
screws missing, things are the wrong size, and not having the right tools and trying to make do and borrow. It's been a process. So Sean and I and this other gentleman, Zach, we put the thing up. We get the basics of the core of it together, like the tower that goes in the middle that everything attaches to. We got that up, at least standing. Not perfectly
stable.
Because there was. Stable enough that we could get onto it to work on it, but not stable enough that I trust the kids to play on it quite yet. But we got it up and standing, and there was like a lot of the hardware is just so incredibly rusted we couldn't get it back in. So we need to we need to force that rusted stuff out and then get it back in and then replace bits of wood that have been rotted because this thing's like close to 20 years old, I think.
Yeah.
So we got that part up and running, and then I went to the hardware store and got a bunch of new stuff, and I went out to start working on things because Sean wasn't able to come back until like this weekend. He's coming back with a couple people to help me get the rest of it together. And I went out there on, I want to say Tuesday, to start putting some new bolts and stuff in there. And wouldn't you know, Tuesday was a very nice day.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Very nice day. And the playground was swarmed with termites.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That sucks.
All over the place. So I go and I call the local place that I knew. It was a local place called RID. They've been around this area since I was a kid. They're like they were like the exterminator place. So I called them up, but they no longer exist. They have been bought out by Viking exterminators. That's a big chain. Yeah, they're big folks. So I call them up, and the miracles of modern technology. They don't need to come out to see everything. They said, "Can you send me a picture of one of the bugs just to make sure it's a termite?" And
I'll send you a picture of thousands of them.
So I got nice and close to one of them and snapped a picture and texted it to her, and she was like, "Well, I have bad news. That is indeed a termite. So we need to get out there. We need to treat the whole area, because if they're swarming right now, that means that they've been underground for at least a couple of years, and they're just looking for a new place to eat. So you got to protect your home. It's your biggest investment. We got to do the whole area. It's going to be $650 to start.
Selling you hard.
$650 to start, and then $70 a month for at least 11 months.
Oof.
I'm like, that's a lot of dollars.
You have just thrown some numbers at me that I am not comfortable with. I'm going to take it as disrespect.
I don't know what my options are, because you clearly know more about termites than I do, but I need to mull this over for at least a day. Get me a written proposal, and I guess I'll be in touch. So I tell Karen all this, and it's like, well, that's terrible. This is awful. But she goes and takes Ellie to dance later that day. Yeah. And when she's at dance, she talks to a couple of her friends, and her friend has a local guy that she knows. And I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He gave me the name of his business, but I'm terrible with names. He didn't have any business cards on him, because I was like, dude, I'm going to forget everything you told me except the numbers. Like, I'm going to forget every name you told me. Just give me your business card when you come back on Monday. And he was just like, all right, first off, these guys are fucking criminals because that's ridiculous. And once you get that written proposal, please forward it to me because I want to frame it.
Nice.
He went through everything like, look, yes, they do live underground. That's what the termites in this area do. But have you seen them in your house? No. Then they're not in your house. So he walks around the house. He's like, there is no evidence of termites living in the house because if they're swarming right now, they'd be flying around inside of your house if they were in your house. You put up this playground. It's made of dead wood. The termites were like, hey, look, dinner. Nice weather. First time they come out in the season. Of course they swarmed that thing. That's what they're going to do. That's their job. They're here to get rid of dead wood. That's their point. Yeah. So he was
they're actually not the worst thing in the world. You just don't want them in the house. Obviously.
Exactly. You don't want them destroying your home. He's like, look, here's what we're going to do. He gave me a whole lot of tips, for things around the house. He's like, you need to caulk this. This isn't even termite related. This is just this is something you need to do. You should caulk this. All right.
You shouldn't have a house. You're not man. Let me come here and be a man at you for a little bit.
This right here needs to be fixed. No, I keep firewood in my garage. He's like, you know what that is? That's termite food. You don't keep that in your garage. I understand that it's dry in your garage. Get a tarp, keep it outside.
You definitely should not do that.
Told me a bunch of stuff about the playground that we're putting in because we were just installing it exactly like it was in the house that we got it from. And he's like,
right.
You ever see a modern fence and it's got that little metal stuff at the bottom of it? That's to stop termites from getting into it. You need to get this off the ground. If it's all wood, it doesn't need to be off by much, just like an inch. Just got to get something. So I got a whole crap load of pavers. We're going to prop this thing up on pavers all the way around. It's going to be great. But yeah, he was super nice guy. Also incredibly crass.
I
he
love
was
that.
in there talking about ticks. He's just like, yeah, man, this one time he saw a bunch of leaves in the corner that I hadn't gotten cleaned up yet. I was like, I'm working on it. And believe me, I know to get the leaves out of there. I know they attract ticks. I'm fully aware. It's literally a matter of hours in the day and me not having enough of them. And he's like, man, I had a tick one time. It was right in the end of my dick. And it's going in the whole story about how his wife didn't want to have anything to do with him until he got that tick taken care of. Wow.
Wait, he tried to fuck his wife with a tick on his dick?
This is that's not the conversation I intended to have, but you know what? I respect it.
I got because I got to be honest. I have also had a tick on the end of my dick, and if I could not have gotten it off of me any sooner. It was like, oh my god, what is that? Son of a bitch. There's fucking tweezers right now. Running around my house with a fucking dick in my hand, like, oh, son of a bitch. Looking at it to make sure it doesn't fucking move. What if it goes in the hole?
Don't go in there. No.
That's not what it would have done.
It's dark in there.
It wouldn't have done. It was already dug in. It wasn't going anywhere else. It had already bit down. I was so scared.
So yeah, this guy, he said, look, it's $50 for the visit and then $200 for doing all the treatments that you need. And if you find any other problems, then we'll have another conversation. But as far as I can tell, this is all you need. I'm like, oh, $250 total instead of $650 plus $70 a month for 11 months.
That's right.
Yeah, I think I'll go with this guy's business.
Yeah. That's so fucking wild, man. Because that's and I get it. They're just trying to scare you into business. It's a hard business model to keep up.
It is, but he was telling me stories about people that he knows who have worked there and have since left. And they did the kind of shit that you would remember them talking to us about in GameStop and whatnot. Apparently, you work there, and they're every at this time of year, every single call that you go on, you find termites. And he's even if you don't find termites, you found termites. That's the package we're selling right now. Yeah, and just
I see gross. Some damage.
No.
I don't see any out right now, but you want to make sure that you're taking preventative measures.
Exactly.
Because once they're in, they're in.
Yeah.
You got to protect your investment. I think about it, your house falls down, kills your family. First of all, you're probably at work, so you're fine.
Damn this sideways
crazy
house.
sideways house killed my boy. What day it will kill us all. Oh God, that fucking sucks. God damn it.
So I mean, but yeah, free playground that is now. I've spent about $150 on lumber and hardware, and now I'm spending another $200 some odd on termites. But you know what? The termites existed. They didn't come in with the playground. They live underground, so they were going to be there anyway. And
no good deed goes unpunished. Just try to give your kids a fucking playground.
But they'll play on it. I'll be able to throw them outside and say, "There, go, have fun.
Go away.
Go outside. You want to fight out there.
Fight on the fucking play King of the Hill. Don't do it, Anakin. He has the high ground. Wrong with you? Because Elliot's gonna win. Like that's not even a question.
You're probably right.
No, I'm 100% right. We both know this. It's okay. Oh,
so you
man.
got anything video game related you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. I'm really disappointed that we are recording this episode tonight and not tomorrow. Mostly
sorry.
because I am taking the kids to see the fucking Mario movie tomorrow, so we could talk about it on the show.
Do you want me to not talk about it tonight?
No, fucking talk it. Don't spoil it. I mean, can you talk about it without spoiling it? I don't know. Are there spoilers?
I like that you assume that there are spoilers to be had.
I've seen criticism that it's a kids movie. Like, well,
yeah,
duh.
it's a kids movie,
Uh-huh.
and oh my God, some of the reviews I've looked at have just been making my head spin, especially
unfair.
after seeing it. Like, what I get, you're judging this on it feels to me like a lot of this stuff was written before the movie came out. And like, okay, I saw the trailer. I can't wait to say these lines. I can't wait to say, this is the second best Super Mario Brothers movie ever. I can't wait to make a Paper Mario reference about how stupid the story was or something. Or it's just an illumination. Like, there are these they just sound like something that these critics could not wait to say. They just had their reviews written ahead of time and just had to plug in the holes.
And like, you don't know that to be true.
I don't know that to be true. It's just that's what they've read like to me.
There is no way. There's no possible way. I have not seen this movie. I will be seeing it tomorrow, Friday, taking the kids. They're pretty excited about it. There's no fucking way this is worse in any measurable fashion than the first Super Mario Brothers movie. That is one
saying
of
that is
the
not
worst movies ever made.
It's not a person to be taken seriously. You cannot take that seriously. That is something that they just want to say for clicks. There is you just can't. Here's the thing. What did I always say about this movie? I just want it to be good. I don't need it to be great. I just want it to be not bad. And that is exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And you know what? Anything more complex than this would not have been true to the source material. Yeah. This is a Super Mario Brothers movie. And here's the thing I appreciated the most about it. Not just my kids, but the other kids next to me. None of them got bored and started wandering around at any point during the movie because it is constant.
That's good.
This is not something that I can say. And you know that I'm not a huge fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And it's something that I can't say about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. When seeing that in the theaters, there were kids who started to get bored. And that happens to every kids movie that gets too talky.
Yeah.
They were like, no talky. We will talk for exactly enough time, and then something interesting will happen. There'll be some talking, something interesting will happen. There's like this little tiny twinge of a subplot about Mario's dad doesn't believe in him. Like, the whole plot is that Mario and Luigi used to work for this other company. I'm not going to say what it is because it's wonderful.
Okay.
And then they decided to quit that steady job to start their own plumbing business.
Sure.
And, their their dad doesn't necessarily believe in the cause. But it's not like Pixar levels of like tear-jerking, big emotionally abusive situation or two not understanding each other. It's relatively casual. The guy clearly loves his kids. He just doesn't necessarily think what they're doing right now is the best move in the world. That's as deep as it goes. And then it gets resolved very easily by the end. Similar situation happens with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's dad, Cranky Kong. Yeah. Donkey Kong thinks that Cranky Kong thinks he's a joke. Again, gets resolved by the end of the movie. Nice and easy. That's all the emotional depth you need. Not every kid's movie needs to be up. We don't need deep emotional connections in every kid's movie. Because you know what?
That movie.
When we were kids, we all got fucked up by that Transformers movie. The weight of Optimus Prime, like, we all got fucked up by that.
Black and white, Chris.
Yeah. But you know what? We
he
also
loses the color.
We also loved Thundercats, which was paper thin. You know? There was it was garbage.
Yeah,
and
it was great. It was great.
Exactly,
fucking
it was
garbage.
Great. It was fun, and that's what this was. This was fun, top to bottom, and it's just filled with love and reference for the source material. I didn't stop smiling the whole goddamn movie. My face hurt because I was so happy. And you know me, music is so important to me. The score in this movie is, if I had one complaint, it's that there are a couple of not modern-ish songs thrown in there. And I say modern-ish, it's like 80s songs. Yeah. So, and this is, my complaint is that they were unnecessary, and one of them in particular is like, why is this here? There's, Take On Me shows up in a place in the movie that's like, all right, I like what I'm seeing, and I love this song, but I don't see the connection.
Don't know why it's happening together.
Why is it happening right now? Like, I don't want to spoil that, because that's a moment you'll actually enjoy. That is a musical moment that you will enjoy, and I don't want to spoil that it's there. But there's like, most of the modernish music that's thrown in there is lyrically or some way connected to what is happening on screen. Yeah. And then Take On Me is just like, what? I mean, I'm not unhappy about this. It's just, why here? But whatever. And again, it could have been replaced by more of the score. The score is amazing. The score is just so much music from all of the Mario games applied so brilliantly. It's just, I couldn't believe how good the music was. Like, I had already heard some of it from the preview scenes, but it's all that good. It's all that. So much so that they announced today that I Am 8-Bit is selling the soundtrack on vinyl. Pre-orders go up tomorrow. I will absolutely be buying this on vinyl. Because, like, after we left the movie theater, John was just like, can you get the music? Because I really want to listen to the music. And I was like, believe me, buddy, the second this music's available, I'm getting it. There's no way I'm not having this. And I'm not really a movie score kind of guy, but seriously, this stuff was out of control good. It was beautiful renditions of classic Mario stuff.
What's really funny about that is that I had a similar conversation with Hero, because WrestleMania was this past weekend. I watched a lot of fucking wrestling. Boy, was a lot of it stupid. But Edge, for his match against Finn Balor, came out not to his usual theme song, but came out to a Slayer song, South of Heaven. And Hero, as she's sitting there, like, getting ready for bed, she just kind of glances over as she's saying goodnight to us, and she's like, I like this song. What is this song? And I was like, I will tell you in the morning when I'm driving you to school. And we get in the car in the morning, and she was like, all right, Dad, can you put that song on? And I was like, fuck yeah, I can. It's Slayer, South of Heaven. And she was like, oh, I know Slayer. Do you like Slayer? And I was like, fuck yeah, I like Slayer. And she, right on. So, kind of similar. You and John are bonding over the Super Mario Brothers movie soundtrack, and Hero and I were bonding over Slayer.
That's awesome.
And Katie's just in the back of the car going, this is okay. Like, how dare you? How dare you lie to me in such a manner? You tell me you don't like it. It's okay that you don't like it. Nobody, but nobody in the world has ever heard a Slayer song and went, you know, I could take it or leave it. Like, that is not the band that Slayer is. You're either like, yes, this is great. No, I don't ever want to hear this again. It's okay. Shut up. What's wrong with you? I'm so glad you liked it, though. Like, I really
did.
I genuinely am glad. I am hopeful. What got me excited to go see the movie, actually, one, I thought we were going to talk about it on the show, you big dick, with a tick on the end of it. Fucking.
Don't worry, I'll be happy to talk about it again next week.
But two, the current trailer that's out where Luigi is sitting on like the steps or whatever, and the lightning flashes behind him, and there's a bunch of Shy Guys. I was like, all right, they get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back in.
That was just it. They get it. They didn't try to do anything. They didn't try to make it into anything that it didn't need to be. It was a Super Mario Brothers movie, and yes, it was very much a kids movie. Yeah, it could have.
Yeah. So is Sonic.
Better.
So are Disney movies. Like, I am sure there are things in there for older fans and adults to be like, that's for me. I get it.
There's not much of that. To
no,
be perfectly
there doesn't
honest
need
with
to
you.
be.
There's
just
not
every
a
now
lot
and
of
again.
it. It's just
a
like
couple things.
Yeah, like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show Mario rap. Like,
yeah,
that's
for
good. Us. That's not for the kids.
No.
Jack Black here. was phenomenal as Bowser.
Jack Black is fucking phenomenal. It's just where you could have stopped.
That being said, I think you're really going to like the direction that he takes Bowser in this movie. I think you're going to find that to be wonderful. Chris Pratt was pretty good as Mario. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. Charlie Day was great. Princess Peach, they overcorrected, I think, a little bit. Who
was doing the voice for her?
Anya Taylor-Joy, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great.
Love her.
The thing with Peach is, and this is like, I believe the actual definition of a Mary Sue character. You know, people would say something like Ray was a Mary Sue, because she never made any mistakes. Like, yeah, she fucked up a lot.
Yeah,
Princess Peach does not fuck up ever in this movie.
That's fine.
She's perfect the whole time through. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. And like, it's not distracting and never appears as if like totally out of character. She's no match for Bowser one-on-one, you know. The Mario brothers still have to save the day, but she's great. It's a lot of fun. The whole thing about her, like, people were complaining about in the trailers about like, they made Mario into a bumbling idiot and Princess Peach knows how to do everything, and they straight up just say that in the movie. It's just like, you messed up a lot, but you're getting better. And it's like, this all seems so easy for you. It's like, I grew up here. Well, yeah. That makes sense. She grew up here. You didn't.
Yeah,
you're from Brooklyn. This is all weird.
You're from Brooklyn. You are out of your fucking element, Donnie.
Oh God, the way they it's such a Super Mario movie. It's so great. Keegan Michael Key as Toad was great. I saw one of our listeners. I'm pretty sure he listens to the show. He's a friend of mine. He was really disappointed in the movie, and that made me sad. He was one of the jokes there was a recurring joke in there that I thought was hysterical. From that latest trailer, that Luma that was in the cage, that's just like, super morose and really happy about it.
Yeah,
like, yeah, he shows up a handful of times, and I thought it was hysterical every time. And he was like, that joke was funny once. They should have done something else the rest of the times. And I was like, that bums me out to hear you say that. I'm sad that he didn't enjoy it. I'm sad that anybody who went into this movie didn't enjoy it, because I just thought it was a joyful popcorn, hollow piece of entertainment. That's all I needed.
That's really all it should be.
Because
like if you want an in-depth Nintendo movie, like that's the Metroid movie.
If The Legend of Zelda comes out or a Metroid movie comes out,
And
or even a Kid Icarus movie comes out and it's completely...
Oh, you stop it.
It's
what a ridiculous thing you just said. I love you, but come on.
Dan?
Be serious.
Kid Icarus was mentioned in this movie. I'm
sure.
not going to give you any context. The Legend of Zelda wasn't mentioned in this movie, but Kid Icarus was in this movie. As I live and breathe, I never in a bajillion years would have expected that. And yet, there it was. And not just not just tiny, not just like, hey, that might be a reference way in the background there. No. There is a major reference in this movie, and I just about crapped my pants. As soon as it came on, John looked at me because he knew what that meant to me. He knew.
That's fun.
Oh, unbelievable.
But
there was no way I wasn't going to love this when that happened.
There should be some emotional gravitas to those properties. But if they're like, man, they made a fucking Kirby movie, it was just bright and colorful for kids. Yeah, it's not everything's for you fucking nerd.
That's
Shut
what
up.
It was. I think a lot of I think there is a definite thought process out there that every kid's movie should be Pixar levels, and I don't necessarily. I think Pixar movies should be that. Absolutely, I think the lots of movies should tackle those things. But I also think there needs to be that other side of the coin of this movie's an hour and a half. It's incredibly brisk. It kept every kid's attention the whole time. Sometimes you need that, and if there was ever a property to do it with, I think it's Super Mario Brothers, and it pays so much respect to the source material that a lot of reviewers say was just checking off a checklist. It's like, oh, we got to show this, we got to show that. It's like, well,
yes,
I don't know. Yeah, you do, but also it was woven together in ways that made a degree of sense.
But that's just not a negative.
Exactly, it's just not a negative.
It's not a negative.
You know what felt like the last Harry Potter
superhero
movies.
movie? They had to show him fucking getting his costume, and yeah, that's part of it.
You got to show that. So, like the last 3 Harry Potter movies, those movies felt like checklists to me. Those scenes didn't seem to fit together. It was like, these are the things that happen in the book. We need to film all of these scenes and then put them next to each other.
Oh,
the last 3 Harry Potter movies felt like that to me. That's not what this felt like to me. This felt like
you should definitely read those books, because if you read those books, you will realize that there is so much of that.
I have read the books.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I know I'm not much of a book reader, but yes, I read all the Harry Potter books, and yes, I was disappointed in a lot of the things that were left out. But they also
added. They took things out and then added stuff that didn't make sense.
Yeah,
very weird
really
choice. Don't add.
You know what else did that? That Matilda musical. We just watched that. That was weird. I mean, granted, I guess I think that was also in the musical that this movie is based on. But even like from the book to the musical, they made all these changes that didn't make things worse, but they didn't make things better either. So why did they change them? It's very strange to me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, they're inoffensive changes. They're just confusing changes. Having just read the book with Ellie. But yes, I read all the Harry Potter books. And yes, but that was one of the reasons why I was kind of excited to see, all right, this is a lot of stuff. How are you going to adapt that into a movie? And let me see all that stuff happen and be exciting. And then, like, there's like a big ball of water instead of a giant living statue coming to life and fighting with swords. It's like, okay, that was weird. But no, that's beside the point. The point was that the movies felt so like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. Like they were just checking off the boxes instead of, how do we adapt this into something that feels like a story? And it was,
how do we actually make this work?
Yeah, how do we actually make this work? And again, this movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, continues to make me angry at those Sonic movies, because first off, they didn't do any of that stuff. Like, you know, Mario never goes flossing. There's no modern lingo. All the pop music that's thrown in there is stuff from like the 80s or 90s that has already stood the test of time. So it's not going to be like Macy Gray in this first Spider-Man movie. It's like, this will always...
How dare you disparage Macy Gray?
that scene sticks out like a sore thumb. none of that stuff is like that. They didn't go with nobody's doing Fortnite dances, you know? And then again, it was all in honor of the source material. Every single piece of it was like, we're making a Super Mario movie, then we're making a Super Mario movie. We're going to do this the way it's been done before. Whereas my big complaint with the Sonic movie is like, okay, well, what if we take Sonic out of there and just apply it to this real world template we have, right? Yes, Green Hill Zone, all those fascinating places that he goes through, that's neat. But what if we were in Seattle? And like, and then you look at this movie and you think, holy crap, how good would a Sonic movie be if they just made a Sonic movie?
Yeah.
And that's what kills me, is the potential.
I like
that it's
those
not.
movies a lot more than you do, but
yeah, I really enjoyed them for what they were. I had a blast watching them with my kids, but I know I always say not to judge things based on what they aren't, and I try to the best of my ability. But sometimes you look at something and you think, it was right there. All you had to do was take this material that exists. Because, like, there's already Sonic lore. Super Mario Brothers is paper thin unless you start diving into the RPGs. If you just want to go with mainline Mario games, there's not much you need to do. This was easy. To just kind of string it into a movie, you just got to add a little bit. You didn't need to do shit for Sonic. There's like 16 animated series, 30 years of comic books. There is lore out the ass, and there's amazing. God, could you imagine Chemical Plant Zone or like any of those amazing locations from Sonic? Like that, the beginning of that movie, the first one is so awesome. When he's running around Green Hill and you got Hyper Potions music playing, and it's like, oh, that's what I want. This is going to be so great. And then they just, nope, no more of that. We're going to the real world. He's going to floss and it's going to be hilarious. You were so close. Like, you're so close. I mean, like, that's the movie I want to see.
Don't get me wrong. Flossing is awesome.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
I also got a trailer for Fast 10.
Ooh. Shit.
Because I'm still watching 15 minutes a day. I am on 7 now? Shit, which one did I just start? Because they're... Oh, God, the names of these movies. It's... Come on. Where's my list of the Fast and Furious movies? I don't need that. There was a Wikipedia page that I go through. Here we go. Fast and Furious. So... Yes, it was Fast 5, then Fast and Furious 6. Now I'm on Furious 7.
Ooh.
There's no Fast, it's just Furious. And I got a little spoiler in that trailer because I hadn't seen the Fast X trailer since before I started doing this. And like, there was a dude in the trailer that was like, "Hey, that guy's dead." Well, I guess he technically died off camera. Looking forward to see how that one plays out. Good times. These movies are fucking ridiculous. I'm having so much fun watching them.
I mean...
Anyways.
Yeah.
Super Mario movie was super fun, and I didn't do anything else different from last week. I'm still working through Metroid Dread. It's still fucking great. I'm still working through Kid Icarus Uprising. The controls still suck. I'm still working on The Messenger, which is absolutely fucking wonderful. As great as I remember it. And that's it. That's all I got. Mario movie was the high point for me. And termites.
Mario movie, termites. I mean, yeah. We're still making our way through Until Dawn. We should be finished with it probably. Well, it would have been tonight. So I could talk about it on the show tomorrow.
Yes, really I'm sorry. We're recording on Thursday because tomorrow night I'm going to see Mickey Dolenz in concert.
Fuck prick. I hope he's terrible. I hope he comes out and he's like, "I side with Travis Tritt." And you're like, "Ah, God damn it, Mickey Dolenz."
I don't even know who that is. I've seen the name thrown about. Like, nope, I don't know who that is.
He's some fucking has-been 90s pop country bullshit who's Bud Light. That's fucking stupid. Anyway, no, so we've been working our way through Until Dawn. Yeah, it was a lot of wrestling this week. This is WrestleMania. And like, man, I wanted it to be good. It was not. The first night was. Because WrestleMania is 2 nights now. Like, it's a big commitment. It's fucking 8 hours.
It does, I mean,
it's 4
mania.
hours on.
Yeah,
I know. But like, it was a lot. The first night was really good. And then the second night, there were bits and pieces that were really good. But then, like, oh God, you don't watch wrestling.
I don't. I agree.
But okay, good. We cleared that up. The thing about wrestling, right, is that in order for it to work, you don't have to be serious, but you have to take it seriously, right? We all know it's fake. There is nobody in the world who watches wrestling on a regular basis that is like, this is a legitimate fight that these two people are having. Unless you're like a kid and you just don't like recognize that fact yet, right? So, okay. So we're all in on the joke. And still, there were 80,000 people in the fucking stadium to see WrestleMania. So in the main event, Chris, tell me if this makes sense from a storyline standpoint. Okay. Roman Reigns has been the champion for a very, very long time.
So Roman Reigns reigns?
Yes, he does reign. The last time he
Bet you never heard that one before.
Nope, that is completely original.
You're welcome.
Where do you come up with these things? Oh, you're missing some good fish puns, by the way. That's a whole other thing. Anyway, so he's been the champion for like 2 years, 3 years almost. He's approaching 1,000 days as the champion, which is like, there's reasons for that we don't need to get into. But most of the time that he's won his matches in this title reign has been kind of a rinse and repeat formula. Like, he goes in, starts beating up the babyface, and the babyface is making the comeback, and then there's a ref bump or a distraction, and the other people that are his family members that are with him, the Usos or Solo Sikoa, come in, cheat, Roman Reigns wins. That's kind of how it goes every time, right? So, Cody Rhodes has come back to WWE, and he's going to be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns. His father, the legendary Dusty Rhodes, has never won a title in WWE, and Cody's doing it for his dad, and the promos have been really good, and they've really built the storyline up. And the natural conclusion of this story was at WrestleMania this past weekend. And here's where it all kind of fell apart, and why I said you don't have to be serious, but you have to take it seriously. Or about 10 minutes into the match or so, Solo Sikoa hits Cody Rhodes in the back with a weight belt, right? Solo Sikoa's on the outside. He's not involved in the match. That should be a disqualification, but the referee understands the gravitas of the situation. So instead of disqualifying Roman Reigns, which means Cody wins, but he doesn't get the belt, he throws Solo Sikoa out. He says, "You get the fuck out of here." And the big pop, 80,000 people are cheering. Like, yes, this is going to be fucking great. Nobody's there to help him cheat, right? Okay. So about 10 minutes later, the Usos come in because guess what? There was a ref bump. So the ref is down, just like every other fucking Roman Reigns match, and his cousins come in. Well, then 2 guys who won the night before, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, come out. They make the big save. They hit both of their finishing moves on Roman Reigns. Then Cody hits one of his finishing moves on Roman Reigns. The ref gets back up in time to see this happen. Cody's got the pin. 1, 2, kick out. Like, okay. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. He just took 3 finish. Okay, moving on. And it was at that point where I was like, fuck. They're gonna fuck this up. They're gonna fuck this up, and the story isn't gonna make any sense. And indeed, about 5 minutes later, when they're getting to the end of the match, Solo Sikoa comes back out, except this time he's wearing the same exact outfit that he was wearing earlier, which, keep in mind, he's a Samoan wrestler, and traditionally, a lot of the Samoan wrestlers don't wear shoes. Okay, so that kind of stands out when you're, like, in a wrestling ring, right? Everybody else is wearing boots. Who could this shoeless man be? Because he came out in a hoodie, cheated, and helped Roman win. And the referee, like, looks over, sees Solo Sikoa, who he threw out, like, 10 minutes earlier. But now he's back, and now Cody is all of a sudden on the ground getting beat, and he goes, yep. And, like, and that was the finish. Now, from a storyline standpoint, the only way that works is if the ref restarts the match. I threw you out. You're wearing a hoodie. It's not a fucking disguise. You're not a different person. You put a hoodie on, you dick. No, this...
Put a hoodie on his dick.
With the tick also wearing a hoodie. Very tiny hoodie on the tick. But it's just like, man, you know, like, you get invested in this shit, and it's like a whole year of build-up, because Cody came back at the last WrestleMania. And, like, when wrestling's good, there's nothing else like it on the planet. It's one of the most enjoyable art forms, entertainment mediums, like, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But then shit like this happens, and you're like, well, I mean, if you guys aren't going to be serious about it, then I can't be serious about it either. You know? It was very disappointing. Very frustrating.
That sounds it.
Does it? But, like, just think of that from a story, like a pure storyline standpoint. Like, if you're telling
like
a story with
me.
a match, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I threw you out, and now you're back here, and I'm just going to go, oh, well. Like, fuck, man. And the craziest thing about it, right? I don't know if you can imagine what it sounds like when 80,000 people go from cheering their fucking heads off because they think Cody's about to win to not booing, but just silence. That is an impressive thing to do. And it's not a good thing. Like, you don't want no reaction. You want cheers or you want boos. You don't want everybody. It was like, rah! And just 80,000 people quiet. Whoops. Fucked up that one. Very disappointing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. I wish I could get... I've never been able to get into it. Even when I was a kid, there's something about that particular medium that doesn't connect with me. I have never been able to find the fun in it.
Yeah, I get it. It's not for everyone. It definitely isn't.
For everyone.
And
you
like,
know what? I'm glad that it is for the people who enjoy it, because, man, the people who enjoy it sure seem to enjoy it.
Man, I do. I love professional wrestling. But,
didn't Vince McMahon come back with a really dorky mustache?
Oh my god, it's such a choice. And like, he dyed his hair black. He looks like the dude on the fucking Tapatio hot sauce.
I thought that dude retired. Wasn't that like a whole thing? Like,
he did retire.
Like,
and
not even in like the fun character that he plays.
No,
like, he's a
sexual
genuine
allegations.
Yeah, he's a genuine piece of shit human being. And then like,
that was known, but yeah, like then it was out in the public. But
there was this ticket out. And then he's like, no, I'm back. And how does that work?
And making more money than he was when he left. And they just sold the company to Endeavor, who also owns the UFC. They just sold WWE on Monday for $9.3 billion.
Sweet
and
Jesus.
Vince McMahon got a promotion.
And didn't they say something like they want to try and combine UFC and WWE? Like, how does that work? I thought UFC was like actual fights.
It is kind of. UFC has been really bad since Endeavor bought them. Like, I used to be a big UFC fan. Like, loved watching the fight. I like combat sports. You know what I mean? Like, I love boxing, I love kickboxing, Muay Thai, like all that shit. UFC was great for a long time, and they have some of the most talented, impressive fighters currently on their roster, and they treat them all like shit, and the product has gone down just immeasurably since Endeavor bought it. And I can only imagine the same thing is going to happen to WWE, which is why I'm so happy AEW and New Japan and all these other companies exist. The problem is that in like mixed martial arts, nobody has really stepped up to fill the UFC void, because UFC is still the number one promotion. Like the other company, Bellator and shit that's out there, it's just not even close. You know, UFC is on ESPN Plus, and Dana White is a multimedia star, even though he's a gigantic piece of shit. And it's just, I don't know. It's fucking weird. At $9 billion, the fuck are we doing wrong, Kris? I don't have a $9 billion company. Fucked up. Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, it's been a weird week.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's been strange. A lot of yard work. I haven't really had time for games.
I wish I was doing more yard work.
Yeah.
It's just been playground. Like, that's just been the focus. And there's so much yard work I want to do. I think my tomatoes are coming back.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't planted anything yet this year. But all my herbs are looking great. They all survived except the basil, obviously.
Yeah.
I just planted I bought basil to make spaghetti sauce over the weekend, and I just planted what was left, and I think that died already. But those are kind of a crapshoot once you rip all the leaves off them anyway. But the tomato plants, so I didn't clean them up last year. I just let them go. I was like, just let them rot. See what happens.
Yeah, live your lives.
And you know what? There's a handful of sprouts coming out of where the tomatoes were. I'm probably going to wind up buying a couple. I was going to buy seeds, but based on how many I saw out there today, I was like, I don't even know if I need to seed. I'm probably going to buy like a plant that's already growing. I usually do that every year just for poops and giggles. It's nice to cheat to a certain degree, but these ones that are coming back are like, that's pretty wild. Tomato plants, I feel like, don't always come back, and we'll see. I'm hoping to get some good stuff this year. There was a couple of my flowers, and one of the bushes that I moved in my front yard, my azalea bush, is not doing well, and I'm not entirely sure why. But then outside of that, all the other plants are coming back in really good fashion. All my flowers are back there. These two what's the word I'm looking for? It's not lotus. It's I don't know, some really tall, wacky looking orchid flower that grows in. We had one show up in my yard a few years ago, and like I was able to keep that one alive, and then that came back the next year, and I moved it, not last year, but the year before, and like it survived the move, which I was very happy about, over to my flower bed, and then last year we got 2 of them, which was so cool. This year there's 3.
Oh shit! Now you got to watch out. Now they're spreading.
They spread like crazy. These things are bonkers. They're as tall as I am, and they just grow these tons of gorgeous flowers on them. And I don't know where they came from.
Yeah, orchids are super cool.
Yeah, they're out. I'm so excited. Keep
you remember
coming.
The other day, that total eclipse of the sun? Total eclipse? No, Little Shop of Horrors? Nothing? Okay.
Nah, sorry.
God damn it, Kris.
I've seen it, just I didn't like it the way most people do, so.
That's weird. That is
weird.
That is a you movie, though. I really feel like it is. Anyway, I don't know. I've been roto-tilling the yard, or I suppose it's just tilling. I don't know. I'm not a fucking farmer. I've been tilling the yard for most of the week and like trying to spread the dirt around and start leveling out the back. And I'm like, man, I got to tell you, once you go and fuck the hell out of your backyard, you really notice how unlevel it was. Like, I mean, I knew I had some work to do, but I got some fucking work to do. Son of a bitch. This is really not even close.
Big old project.
Oh God, the backyard's going to be a massive project. Like it's a years long project.
You got the clover. You're starting that this year?
Yep. The clover will be down. So hopefully that'll start, filling in the like, cause I went and the whole yard is just tilled. There's just nothing left back there. So hopefully we will get something back there. Like I'm marking off a place for a fire pit and like building a frame out for that. And like, then I got to get, stones to fill all that shit in and then level out the area for the pool. And, cause why not get a 24-foot pool? That's fine. It's easy.
I think I should build a brick oven for pizza.
I think you should definitely build a brick oven. Like we're doing that. We're not doing the brick oven thing, but like we're trying to set up like an outdoor cooking space and like all types of shit.
Cause like, I mean, we need to replace our grills. That's definitely going to happen. But we do pizza every week and I grill pizza in the summer and that comes out really well. But at a certain point, like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
like,
no, at a certain point, you just need to get on it.
I think I should find a place, and I don't think it's that hard to build one.
No. Get some.
I don't know. I'm not basing this on anything, but
no,
I'm not going to buy a brick oven. But I'm thinking to myself, like,
you should definitely be able to make one.
I should be able to make a brick oven.
Like people used to make ovens back in the day when we were like 3 hairs away from being fucking chimps. Like you can do this, Kris.
Yeah.
Like people did this thousands of years ago before the internet. I'm sure with the advantage of YouTube, you'll be able to get it done. I have faith in you.
Well, I'm going to look into this. It's not super expensive. I feel like that's a fun project. Actually, Sean knows somebody who has recently built their own brick oven as well. So if I need assistance or directions, I feel like I can get it.
See, you got a guy.
Yeah, I got a guy, sort of. I've got a guy at Jace. But anyway, this has been fun, but we should really take ourselves a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Batman: Return of the Joker for the Nintendo Entertainment System as part of the Super Series.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get your opinions.
Me too. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around to find out what the fuck I meant.
You don't have them yet?
Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. All right, everybody, we are back, and we are going to talk about Batman for NES. Not the first one. We're going to talk about the second one, the follow-up to the seminal NES classic from Sunsoft, Batman. Very, very loosely based on the 1989 Batman movie.
Yeah, so
as
let me...
loosely as could possibly be. But yes, this was Dan's pick, so go ahead. Take the lead, sir.
So from the manual... in the inside, just so you know what you're getting into here. It says, and I quote, "Precious metals are mysteriously missing from Gotham City mines. One of these metals has a highly toxic composition, which is used to build explosives for missiles. Gotham City police have exhausted their resources and frantically called to Batman for help. He knows this scheme can only be the insane workings of one criminal mastermind. The Joker has returned. Batman must follow the trail leading to the Joker's secret hideaway before it's too late. It won't be easy, though. You fucking say that again. The Cape Crusader must use his new arsenal of weapons to defeat the Joker's evil henchmen and rely on his acrobatic strength and wit to overcome the obstacles that block his way. Gotham City is relying on you to stop the return of the Joker. Yeah, so this came out December 20th on the NES, 1991 in Japan and North America, same day. Then came out in Europe on November 19th of 1992. Then a Sega Genesis version, which was not made by Sunsoft, which is real bad. Did you play the Genesis version at all?
I did, as a matter of fact.
God, I
have thoughts on that.
Yeah, that one came out in North America in 92. And then also in 92, a version for the Game Boy came out in Japan, North America, and Europe that is a completely different game.
Yeah.
Completely different game.
And there was also a prototype for the Super Nintendo.
For the Super Nintendo, right? Yeah. That there is a ROM of that floating around somewhere.
It's clearly incomplete. I was watching some of it, like, one of the backgrounds is just like, there's the blimp, but like nothing else. Like, this isn't done. But
so what's weird about this game is that this came out, and if I'm not mistaken, this came out after Sunsoft was informed that they would no longer have the rights to make Batman games. Right? Because the Batman Returns game, isn't that Acclaim?
I think I don't remember if it's Acclaim, but it's definitely not Sunsoft anymore.
Yeah.
This was tagging right at the end of their DC situation for sure.
Yeah. So Batman Returns came out in 1992, because the first Batman game that Sunsoft did, like you said, is kind of loosely based on the movie. But there's locations, the final fight with Joker, while it's not at all what the fight is in like the movie, because there's not really a fight in the movie. But like it kind of mirrors that. This game though, man, does it fucking come off the rails towards the end of this movie, towards the end of this fucking game.
Who are the bosses in this game?
Yes.
I did not recognize any of them.
No, I don't either.
I kept looking and be like, oh, the little square faces come and be like, this one's got to be Firefly, right? No, I don't know what this is. Nope, no clue. None at all. So,
let's talk about the good things of this game, Chris, because I do think there's a lot of good here.
There is a lot of good here.
Man, this is a good-looking game.
It is gorgeous, which is one of the reasons I am mystified by the Sega Genesis game, which looks and sounds worse in every way. In every measurable way, it is a worse, uglier game. I thought Ninja Gaiden Trilogy was the pinnacle of taking an 8-bit game, putting on a 16-bit console, and just fucking it up. But wow, I was just blown away by this Genesis game. And I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but the NES game, the composer is Naoki Kodaka. Okay. The Game Boy is Minami Matsume. Okay. Then the Genesis, Naoki Kodaka also gets a credit, but credited alongside Kodaka is your favorite and mine, Tommy Tallarico. I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course. So, did he actually do it, or did someone do it and he took the credit for it? We don't know. I don't know. Whatever it is, they took Kodaka's compositions and made the Genesis fart them out. Oh, but that's so bad. But no, that's bad stuff. But boy, let's get back to the good. As an NES game, and as a follow-up to the original NES Batman. Yeah, which was really a good-looking game in and of itself. Oh my god, it was a great... I mean, because Sunsoft was so good at the NES. Sunsoft, really once they got their feet under them with Blaster Master, they really knew how to do some crazy good stuff with the NES. Sunsoft games are really, really awesome. And
what
this
I'm really,
one in particular, the scrolling backgrounds, the animation on the torches in the first level, and Batman himself is huge.
The size of I was just going to say the size of the sprites and the detail that's in the Batman sprite itself are fucking awesome.
I do think it does the game a disservice, him being that big, because you lose so much screen real estate because
you do.
This game feels so much more zoomed in than the first Batman.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Just on a technical level, when you're looking at this thing, it is really impressive looking. It just really blew my mind on that. And the music is fantastic.
Music is great.
It sounds very good. It's a really technically impressive NES game. Like, all the superficial stuff is phenomenal.
Also, well, and that's the thing.
There.
It is a very different game than the first Batman on the NES.
It is. It's definitely an evolution of it, like with the projectiles and everything. Like, it definitely plays off of that, but because of the size of Batman, there's so much less acrobatics. The wall jumping is just not a part of this anymore.
No, it just isn't.
It's very, very much just walk from point A to point B, shoot bad guys, and then occasionally do like a flight segment, And
it's so weird.
It's like, and now you got a jetpack, and you're playing Gradius with Batman.
Yeah, fucking looks like Turrican almost.
Yeah,
the way he's like posed in the air, it's very strange.
It is very strange.
It's a little disappointing that a lot of the acrobatic shit from the first one is taken out, because they also, for some reason, increased the knockback distance, and there is a lot of cheap death in this one. Or at least, let me rephrase that. I experienced a lot of cheap death in this game, just from getting knocked back by stuff.
Yup.
And man, I found that really frustrating, because what is here is good. Like, the first couple of levels make a lot of sense. You feel like you're in Gotham. It's dirty. There's some
first couple of levels. You're right. And I wrote in my notes, Stage 3-1 with the witches throwing tornadoes and the snow can bite my butt.
Yep,
that was when the game took much the turn. Cheap.
Yeah,
that was where I stopped playing, and I inputted some Game Genie codes to get through the rest of the game, because I was like, I'm too old for this shit. Absolutely not. This is bullshit, is what this is. So I was playing on an EverDrive, and I pulled up Infinite Lives. And one of the health codes too, where it was like certain attacks don't hurt me. So like I still had to fight the bosses, but there was like stage hazards, like obviously falling in a hole would kill me, but like certain environmental damage wouldn't hurt me. Just to kind of be like, fuck this noise. I'm not
the spinning Bowser's castle, fucking flames and shit.
Yeah, no.
It almost feels like stage 3 is where they were told, like, all right, well, you guys are no longer making the Batman Returns sequel game, because like the first 2 stages feel like a Batman Returns game,
and in the same way that the first one feels like a Batman movie. Yeah, I could see that they were starting in that direction, and then they realized, like, or they were told, like, hey, you're not making this game anymore, or whatever. And this is purely conjecture on my part here. But they really do feel like a sequel to the movie game that they were making. And then, boy, does it come off the rails and go to some weird places once you get to stage 3. The final stage, you're like on an island. It's called Hacienda. It's like, fuck you guys. God damn it. What's wrong with you? Because why does Joker have a fucking island base? This doesn't make sense. No, I wrote Joker is uncharacteristic. Yeah, because there was a couple of Joker fights, right? You fought him once and then he runs away. You fight it. The last 2 battles are the Joker. I'm looking at it right now. The 5 bosses. The first boss that you fight is the Ace Ranger. Then you fight the Mind Droid. Then the Master CPU of the Refinery. And then the last 2 battles are with the Joker. Yeah, that refinery one, the level 4 boss. I did not realize you could shoot upwards until that boss. I died on that boss because, like I said, I have infinite lives code. I think I died twice on him, being like, I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this guy. I can barely do any damage. Oh,
and like, let's talk about the boss battles for a second, because I can't think of any other game where they completely changed the health system for the boss fight.
Here's a big bunch of numbers.
Yeah,
and like,
that really don't make much sense.
Tank it. Go ahead. Like, you've got a ton of health, but so do they. Like, just, you're both going to take a lot of damage. Who can out damage the other guy? Like, it's a weird little system. It's
a weird choice, but it works. It's
it
fun.
Does. It's not a bad one. It's just very surprising.
It's a very strange choice, and I feel like I enjoyed this game. I like this game quite a bit. It is hard and cheap in a lot of places. Like, most of the game is hard the way games were hard back in the day. But there are also a lot of sections where you're like, God, you're not taking my quarters. You already have the money. It doesn't have to be this way, guys. Like, we didn't have to do it this way. Because you're right, in level 3 is where it starts, where like there are these weird like witches that are throwing tornadoes that you're jumping across the screen and you don't see it coming and it hits you and knocks you into a hole. You're like, well, fuck, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of those just off-screen death trap things that you just have to figure out, all right, how am I supposed to get past this the right way? And then eventually you do, and it's like, well, that was bullshit.
I will say that I used save states on my computer quite a bit throughout this game. This was one of those, like, I know you can just kind of continue and whatever, but there would be like a section like that where you're trying to jump across a thing and there's a guy that's about to like pop up and shoot you and you're going to take some damage and you know you're going to take some damage, but if you could jump far enough on the fucking moving platform, it won't knock you all the way off the platform. So then you got to shoot the guy with your batarangs or whatever the fuck you're shooting. And then immediately jump to the next platform while a thing is coming down from the ceiling that might kill you. You're like, fuck, save state. Done. Like, I'm not doing that shit again. Because like you said, I am too old for this.
Yeah. I decided very early on, too old for this shit. I have Game Genie codes. I'm going to use them.
Yeah, and yeah. I don't begrudge anybody using Game Genie codes for this game because, man, is there a lot of hard in here. But I also really enjoyed playing through it. I love the way Batman moves. I love the way he controls for the most part.
I did not like the way he controlled. I didn't really. It did not feel good. He had a strange. He's not agile at all, and that is so anti-Batman. There, you move like this weird, slippery tank. The jumping physics are strange. Like, it just, I didn't like the way he felt. I had a real problem with that.
There's a bit of a weird timing on the jumping, but
he's got a strange weight to him.
It's not any weirder than the jumping in the first Batman Sunsoft did. Like, I mean, it's
weirder in a different way. Because if I remember right, the original Batman, he jumped when you released the button. Like, there was a strange jump where it wasn't like you tap the button and as soon as the button registers, he jumps like Mario. It's more like as soon as you release the button, he has a wind-up jump.
Yeah,
and this one, it did.
You're almost like you're pushing to crouch and releasing to jump.
Yeah,
it's just there's a weird timing issue with it.
Yeah. I can't say I was a fan of the way Batman moved in this. I did think it was a fun experience going through. I definitely recommend it. Have a good time with your Game Genies or whatever you want to do. Just to make the game work for you, and it is pretty good. But I was not super impressed by it in that regards. I felt the gameplay left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, it really does. Like, about halfway through, it really feels like they were like, well, fuck. This isn't getting the A-team any longer. But I really, really enjoy it. And it's wild that that's like, those two were the best Batman games for a very long time.
And they're really not Batman games. They're games
They're really
with
not.
Batman in them, but
Yeah.
they are not Batman games.
No, they really, really aren't. And I mean, that's all right. I'm
Yeah,
fine with
exactly.
it.
And that's all right, because they're still pretty cool games with Batman in them. So,
Yeah,
yay.
I enjoyed them quite a bit.
So, yeah.
Do we have
good
any?
pick.
Do we have any listener comments on
That
this
I
game?
don't think we do, actually. Let's see here.
You guys let me down.
Yeah, I don't think anybody jumped in. Super Series.
Boo hiss.
Always been curious about this one. Curious to hear y'all's thoughts. That's Duroc Pig, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely play it.
Yeah,
You definitely
give it a
should.
whirl.
You're going to be frustrated. Like, you're going to be pissed off. There's going to be things where you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Fuck those guys. But also, like Kris said, put in the Game Genie codes about halfway through. You'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Don't even wait that long. Just get started right away.
Start with them? I don't think you should start with them. Get as
Well,
far
that way
as
you don't
can.
have to stop and do the first couple of levels again. It's not like you can add them halfway through the game. You got to turn them on and then
Oh,
start
you
playing
can't?
the game.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know.
Have to-
That's not how it works on an emulator. You can just put them in whenever.
That's how it
Or at
works on
least
an
on-
EverDrive.
On the emulator that I have, like, I've put fucking,
Oh yeah,
you're
if
looking
you're
at wacky
emulating
codes
it,
and
sure.
whatever.
Yeah, I was running it off of an EverDrive on my CRT on original hardware, and that.
Oh, yeah,
so I was a bit more limited in that respect. Good time.
No,
though.
no. Yeah.
I'm glad I played this because I never really played this one before. I think I've played the first level, but I never really spent any time with it. So I'm glad
That's as
I've,
far as I got in
finally
the
seen it
Genesis
through.
one. I played through the first level and went, I'm not doing the rest of this. This
God.
is gross.
I couldn't believe how bad that was.
It's so bad. It's so ugly. It doesn't play well at all.
Yeah,
Like-
why did you do this? Well,
Yeah,
it
it does
sounds
not
so
make any
bad
sense.
too.
It really does. And I wanted to try and get to the Game Boy version. I just ran out of time.
I watched a
mostly
video
because-
of the Super Nintendo prototype,
yeah.
which also looks awful. Possibly slightly less awful than the Genesis one, potentially. It certainly doesn't sound as bad, but bleh.
And that, that was still kind of early for Genesis and early for Super Nintendo. So, it wasn't super early, but
we were doing better than that by then. I think
Yeah.
Sunsoft, I don't think really got the hang of 16-bit all that much.
yeah, that's fair. But they weren't making that. The Super Nintendo one and the Genesis one made by a totally different company.
They were published by them, but yeah, they didn't make them.
Yeah.
And the same with Blaster Master 2. They didn't make it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is 2 games down.
That's 2 games down. Time for the letter C.
Time for the letter C. Are we going to do a ranking episode at the end of the Super Series? We'll rank the 26
Sure,
games.
why not?
All right.
Never thought about that, but why? I don't see any problem with that. Sounds like a good time.
It'll be interesting to see because, I definitely think I like this more than Alicia Dragoon,
Oh, me too. Me too.
but I don't know that I did. All right. What do you got for the letter C, Kris?
I did. I liked this better than Alicia Dragoon. Could
'Cause
just be
I-
the Batman thing. Could just be
Sure.
the absurdity of it. Alicia Dragoon felt cheaper. I fell out of it. I didn't feel as compelled to finish it. This one was as cheap in a lot of ways, but it also was shorter. And it didn't seem to overstay its welcome. So
Yeah.
I liked
yeah.
Alicia Dragoon just fine, but it was yeah. All right, so for the letter C, I actually have been struggling a lot with this one, poking around on all the letter C games that I have, and
Because
I can't.
I've already got the letter D. I'm done. I'll
Oh,
tell you now.
I know you've
Why?
got the D.
Do you want the D?
Well, I want the D.
Oh goodness.
We've already done some of my bucket list C games. We did Comic Zone. We did Contra Hardcore. It was all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to say cool spot because that's kind of the defeats the purpose, right? The point
Yeah.
of this is to do things that we haven't really gone through. Games that we should have proper experience with. Like we did Crystallis, you know?
Right.
These are all C games that jumped out at me. And so I think I've landed on one that's got a very bad reputation. And I haven't liked the little that I have played of it. But I do feel that it's important that I give it a real shake to find out just how bad it really is. And for that, I am sorry.
I'm trying to think what it could be. Because it sounds like you're describing a Crash Bandicoot.
No.
But I don't think that's it.
I honestly don't care which platform you play it for, PlayStation or Saturn, but I think it is time to properly play Contra Legacy of War.
Oh, boy.
We were just poking fun at it in the trivia episode. And you know what? I've played maybe 35, 40 seconds of this game and said, nope. I want to know what it has to offer.
Contra Legacy of War. Well, which version are you going to play?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have it for both PlayStation and Saturn. I'll probably wind up playing them both. Or at least some of them both. I'm thinking I'll probably start with the Saturn one just because I love the Saturn controller so much.
Sure.
But, yeah, I don't know. I also have wireless Saturn controllers that are nice, and I don't have a wireless PlayStation controller. But I definitely will give them both a go. I don't know how long this game is. I really don't know a lot about this game. I wonder which one's better. I guess we'll find out.
Wikipedia only gives me rankings for the PS1 version. I've got 64%, 6 out of 10, and 3 out of 5 stars. There's nothing.
That's not as bad as I expected.
No, there's nothing here for the Saturn version. So how? Because I can play either one. Like, not worried about.
I mean, I gotta wonder how different they even are.
Right.
Because we were PlayStation 1 and Saturn. I guess there was sometimes that was a decent difference. Let's see. Contra Legacy. Wow, I cannot type. Comparison. If there are comparison videos.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing a lot of comparison videos. So that means that there's probably not a lot of differences between them. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll probably end up playing both.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think I have a Saturn emulator.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Is that a difficult platform to emulate?
I know it was at one point. I don't know if it still is.
Should we be talking about this? I still feel like that's how old I am, is that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about emulation.
I think we're allowed to talk about it.
Okay. All right. I'll figure something.
You just use it to play your legally obtained ROMs. That's all.
That's right. And I own a copy of Legacy of War for both the PlayStation and the Saturn.
I do.
Have just never played it. I know you.
Guess which one's more expensive?
Man, I feel like the answer would be the Saturn.
You would be correct. How much more expensive? Like how all right,
$60.
Contra Legacy of War on PlayStation, boxed. Yeah. I don't have the manual, but I just have the box in the game, is $18.
Okay.
I have a loose copy of Legacy of War. Just the disc for Saturn. How much do you think it is?
$18 versus loose on the Saturn, $62.
$75.
Fuck! That's a lot of dollars.
If this was complete, it would be $259.
Fuck directly off.
Yeah, no way. I mean, at least I have the disc. That's neat, but like, holy shit, that is a lot of dollars.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I'm very interested to see what this game's actually like. How is the first proper 3D attempt at Contra? We'll find out.
All right. We are going to find out.
And that's our show. Thanks for listening, everybody. Where the fuck did my script go?
It's right over there.
There it is. Join us next week when we'll be talking about video games.
That's right. We haven't come up with a topic yet. We will, though. Don't worry. We'll get there.
We're getting spoiled by all these, like, monthly and weekly monthly topics.
We've gotten lazy.
Every now and then we have to come up with something to talk about. And, well, maybe next week we'll just talk about the Mario movie again.
Maybe. I mean, I will have seen it by that point.
Yeah, you will have seen it. Maybe we'll do some sort of movie. I don't know. Got nothing.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm really tired. We're on most social media platforms. And if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very, you know what? I say that I'm really tired. I'm less tired than I usually am by the time we're wrapping up this show. So,
yeah.
Bully for me. Anyway,
bully
if you want to get in touch with us.
Yeah, it's not even 11 o'clock, Chris.
Yeah. I'm going to get to bed at a decent hour today. Good for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to get in touch with us, we're very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated by mail. Thank you, USPS. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place, Micro Machines. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.